Hi 125 friends. My name is Joyce, and today I'm going to show you just a few stretches that we can do with all kinds of supports. The wall behind us, the chairs, maybe this happens to be a pillowcase, a strap, or a dish towel would work for you as well. I'm going to start with us seated in the chair. It's good to have two chairs handy for some of these poses. We're going to just come into a full body stretch, supporting ourselves with the chair. If you feel too out in the open like this, go ahead and scoot your chair close to a wall so you have some more stability. Chairs with arms are good if that's what you need. Otherwise, those arms can sometimes get in your way. So let's start by scooting our bottoms close to the end of the chair. I'm removing my socks. It's good to either be barefoot or have a nice pair of athletic shoes on. Socks are often too slippery for the work we're going to do. We scoot our butts to the edge of the chair. We lean back so that we're creating a long incline with the mid body. We're going to stretch the feet out so the heels are on the floor. If it feels better to you to have your feet up on a little ottoman or coffee table, that's a great option. We bring our arms back overhead and we just stretch, 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 pointing the toes away, pointing the fingers away. An option to interlock the thumbs and pull the right thumb against the left thumb. We can move and wiggle through the hips a bit. We can move through the shoulders. We're feeling so very, very long. One last big stretch, creating space between each of the vertebrae. And release, bringing yourself back to a good seated pose, feeling that stretch already in the body. We're going to then grab our second chair and move into a hamstring or a back of the leg stretch. Again, a coffee table works well for this too. We're going to bring our right leg, first of all, up to the chair. We can either just lift that leg or we can bring an assist by using a strap under the leg. Once we're here, we sit very, very tall and we lean forward. We're not rounding forward, but leaning forward just until you feel a stretch in the back of the leg. We can pull the toes slightly toward the knee. We can use our strap to assist that. Just until the stretch feels beautiful. We're not hurting ourselves. We're finding these healthy sensations. We release the first leg, gently back down to the floor. We guide or assist the second leg up to our chair. We can have a bend in the knee. That's just fine. We're still going to find a stretch. We lean gently into that fold toward that leg. We can encourage the toes to point toward the knee, getting even more stretch back here. If we like, we can use the cloth or the strap to encourage the toes to point toward the knee. And we breathe into this stretch just as long as it feels good to us. A nice deep breathing practice can assist during these stretches. If you like, you can bring both legs up if that feels safe to you. And the same thing, we hinge at the hips, leaning in forward, perhaps using that tea towel or pillowcase. Beautiful. The legs are loving it. And very carefully, we come back down to the floor. We're going to stand next to a wall and bring in some twists for the body. You can begin by standing with your torso, your face, and your front body facing the wall. And then we're just gently going to walk our hands to a side. That brings a twist into the body because we're leaving the feet right where they were. If that feels fine, go ahead and stand closer to the wall, walking those hands away, or even turn your body perpendicular to the wall and get even more stretching. Your hands on the wall will facilitate the stretch, will also give you something to lean lightly against to improve the balance. We walk back and we find our either face to the wall or our perpendicular stance for the opposite side. Hands can be at shoulder level, they can be a little bit further down, they can be further up, whatever feels good to your shoulder and to your body as you move into the twist. Beautiful. Let's step out of that particular twist. We're going to then use the wall to move into some stretches for the spine. They're traditionally called cat and cow. One is rounding the spine to the front, the other rounding the spine to the back. With your feet hip distance apart for good balance and about a foot from the wall, we lean the hips or the buttocks right into the wall. We then maybe step the feet a little bit further ahead if that feels more comfortable to us. We're bringing the hands to the thighs right above the knees. As we inhale, we're going to open through heart center, squeeze those shoulder blades together, lift the crown of the head toward the skies. And we're getting that nice rounding in the back, space being created through the vertebrae. We can stay right here and breathe for a moment or two. We then reverse that movement. We're sending the back round behind us. Our chin is coming toward the chest, and we're pulling the shoulders toward one another. We hold that for a breath or two. We then can come back into the first cow pose, and then find our angry cat pose. In a nice practice, maybe 6 sets of this. Any amount really helps, and squeezing them in here and there during the day is great as well. We'll move into a side body stretch. We'll use our friend the wall again. We're about a foot from the wall. You'll adapt this to meet your body. We bring our forearm up to the wall, roughly parallel with the floor. And to move into the side stretch, we just aim our hip toward the wall. So it may be a small movement for you. It may bring you all the way to the wall. If that didn't feel comfortable, play with moving your feet either a little bit closer or a little bit further away from the wall. We have all the stability we need right here. And of course, to keep our body even, we move to the opposite side, finding that same beautiful stretch. So we've moved our spine now in a number of directions. Excuse me. We're going to bring the motion down toward the waist. Sitting again toward the end of your chair, so we have room for movement. Hands either at the hips, grabbing the chair for balance, or on the thighs. We're beginning to make some torso circles. So we're finding that great stretch through the length of the spine, getting some good motion through the hips, and we go in the opposite direction. Your circles might start small, and you can make them larger and larger as that feels right for you. We come back to neutral, and we're going to work in a quick hip stretch. A number of ways to do this. The one that I like is using your second chair again. We're going to bring our foot first to the chair and then to the knee if that's comfortable. If that's not comfortable, we just keep that foot on the chair. We may even scoot it in further. We're just wanting that hip to open a bit here. And then we lean into the bent leg toward the chair. Options are to bring just a gentle pressure on your knee for more opening. As you bring your body back to upright, we can floss that leg, getting side to side motion in the hip. We bring one hand under the foot, one under the knee, and just encourage some slow, gentle side to side movements. So we can do that on both knees. We'll bring the second one up. We can bring the foot either to that thigh or some nice Side to side motion, feeling that opening. And our final stretch in this little stretching practice is going to be our child's pose. We can have the chair here if we prefer not to be on the floor doing this pose. And we lean down toward that chair. We have our pillows or our blankets stacked on the chair as much as we need in order to rest the forehead down on that space. For some, stacking the hands or stacking the fists will work well. You might like to widen the stance of your legs. We're feeling a release through the lower back, as well as allowing the body to simply relax. Stay right here in this child's pose for as many breaths as feels comfortable to you. That's a great pose to use shortly before going to bed at night. So now we've had the opportunity to stretch much of our body. A great beginning to a day, a great ending to a day. I hope you enjoyed. Namaste.